Happy Thriving Thursday. Today let's talk about fair housing questions. So my source for today's Q&A is the lovely Legal Hotline FAQ magazine from Michigan Realtors in February 2018. So question number 1, I have a buyer who wanted me to tell them more about the local school test scores. When I went to the website with the scores, I noticed that they were broken down by many different demographics, including race. So can I provide my buyers with this list? Realtors should not distribute demographic information broken down by race. Instead, realtors should provide buyers with a list of the various websites from which they can obtain school test score information themselves. So a good website is from the state of Michigan, myschooldata.org. So I personally don't want to give out any data on schools or neighborhoods. There are plenty of resources on the internet that the client can self-discover those. So question number 2, I have a rental listing that was recently rented to someone who has a physical disability. The tenant wants the landlord to install rails in a number of areas within the house at the landlord's expense. Do they have to do this? So if a person has a disability, a landlord must allow him to make reasonable modifications to the rental unit. However, the landlord can require the tenant to pay for the modifications and for the restoration of the property to its original condition at the termination of the lease. Question 3, I have a prospective buyer who is Hispanic. He told me that he wants to live in a Hispanic neighborhood. What should I do about this? So the client needs to be told that it is illegal for you to direct them to a particular neighborhood based upon ethnicity or nationality of the residents in that neighborhood. If, on the other hand, the client identifies a particular geographic area in which he wishes to live, the realtor can honor the client's request to limit the search to that neighborhood. So the realtor would be well advised to have a written record as to the client's specific request. So I'd say, sure, I can set that up for you. Can you email me those specifications, please? Question 4, I own a 2-bedroom rental home. Can I restrict large families from leasing the property due to the house's limited capacity? So landlords can restrict the number of persons that may occupy a home or apartment. In fact, many cities license rental units for a particular number of occupants. While it's appropriate to restrict the number of occupants, a restriction should never refer to large families or a specific number of children. Question 5, I plan on stating in the MLS and other advertising that my seller's house is in a family neighborhood. Can I use this type of description? So real estate advertising should not include statements that either suggest that families with children are not welcome or that they are the only people welcome. So reference to a family neighborhood may be interpreted as an attempt to discourage buyers who are not families with children. So this one is my personal favorite because I see variations of this often in the MLS descriptions. Great house to start a family in, family-friendly house, family-friendly neighborhood. So the only time you should use the word family in a listing description is if you're talking about the family room, period, end of story. Remember to treat all clients the same, which means being consistent in your process. So continue to practice kindness out there. Have a great, thriving Thursday and a wonderful weekend.